Hey everyone, welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to cull our first job using Lightpanel inside of Adobe Lightroom Classic. So we talked about modifying our preferences in the previous video. So now we can use those preferences that we created to actually cull through our first job. So first thing we want to do here is let's just open up that little Lightpanel tutorial dialog by clicking on this little question mark here right by the preferences button. So we'll just click on this. This will open up that Lightpanel tutorial. We already did tip 1, so let's move on to tip 2. So tip 2 says adjust the capture rate option that matches your job. So if we head over here to this little blinking section of Lightpanel, this is our capture rate menu. And there's 3 different options. We have methodical, which is where you're capturing portraiture in a studio environment or you're photographing with film. Essentially, you're capturing portraits, but you're not capturing a ton of different images within a short amount of time. We then have average, which is going to be your weddings, your family portraiture, capturing children, things like that. And this is going to be the default option. This is probably the one you're going to be using the majority of the time you're using Lightpanel. We then have fast, which is where you're capturing sports, events, graduations, things like that, where you're really laying your shutter down and you're capturing lots and lots of images. So if you're really shooting a ton of different photographs in a really short amount of time, you probably want to go into fast, but the majority of the time when you're just capturing, a wedding, something like that, I'd recommend just using average. So we'll move on in our Lightpanel tutorial. We'll go to next. Tip 3, press the Analyze button. Lightpanel will analyze your job and find the duplicates and add warnings to photos that may have closed eyes or are out of focus. This is a 2-step process. Finding duplicates is fast, and you can start to review your photos as soon as this is done, while the rest of the work happens in the background. Now, what that is saying is that it's going to go out and find your duplicates first, and then it's going to go out and find your images that have closed eyes or that are blurry. So we're going to go over here to Analyze, and my Analyze button isn't actually enabled right now because I'm clicking on this All Photographs section there within this catalog menu. To enable the Analyze button, I just need to click on the actual folder that I'm working in. So you can see here now it's identified that folder, and now I have that Analyze button there. So if the Analyze button is hidden for you, like it was for me earlier, just make sure you are clicked onto the folder that you want to analyze. So we're going to click Analyze. That's going to go in and identify duplicates, blurry photographs, and images that have closed eyes. So now that the folder has been analyzed, we can jump in and start reviewing our images. So let's go into this Lightpanel tutorial. We'll go to the next tip here. It says, now it's time to review your photos. Use the next photo button, which would be these buttons here, or press Command right arrow to navigate through the photos or the different groups of duplicates. Now, the next tip says, in the Faces pane, you will see magnified versions of the faces in the selected photo. Use this to pick the photos with the best sharpness. So what we're going to do here is we're going to open up these different categories of photographs that it's found, duplicates, eyes closed, or blurry, and we're going to navigate through them, review them, and either rate them a 5-star to turn it as select, or rate them whatever rating you chose within your preferences to add it into our selects folder. Now, I'm keeping mine at 5, so I'm just going to use the 5 key on my keyboard to rate it a 5-star and add it to my selects folder. So let's just start with dupes first. So I can click on dupes. It's automatically going to open up the groups of duplicates in survey mode here. And then I can see which faces have the best expressions here with this faces section of Lightpanel. So I'm just going to use the right and left arrow keys to navigate through the photographs within the group. And I'm thinking I like the one where they're all smiling and laughing at each other the best. So I'll choose 5 there, and I could keep both if I need to. Not a big deal. It's really entirely up to you on which photographs you want to add into your selects to then send off to the client. So I'll use Command and the arrow to navigate to the next group of duplicates. And I think for this one, I'm liking the one where he's smiling. So I'll give that a 5-star. Move on to the next group of duplicates. And I'm thinking the one where he's looking at the camera is the best. So we'll give it a 5-star to add it to our selects. Now, with this one, we have quite a few different duplicates within this group here. I'm really enjoying this first one, so we'll give that a 5-star. And then I really like the one where they're looking off into the distance, so we'll give that a 5-star as well. So as I'm adding in these ratings here, you can see my selects folder is building. So I now have 5 selects. Those are all of the images that I've rated as a 5-star, which then puts them into my selects category here. So we'll go back to dupes. And again, I'm just using Command and the right and left arrow keys on my keyboard to navigate through these different groups. And then once I hit a specific group, that's when I just use the right and left arrow keys to navigate through the actual images within that group there. So that's how easy it is to navigate through your duplicate photos and to rate them, to add them into your selects. In the next lesson, we'll dive into navigating through images that were flagged as eyes closed or that were blurry.